Hi YouTube. So today I am going to review my flight with Frontier Airlines. So when my husband and I first decided we were going on a vacation, we needed it to be really cheap. I'm a college student. He works really hard and we just really needed a break. So for my 28th birthday, we decided to go to Walt Disney World. We got some really good deals on our package there. And we love that as a destination. We went on our honeymoon there, and we took our family there last summer. And so we decided we would just do a quick trip to Food and Wine Festival. And so we got on and started looking at flights and got a really good deal. And it was a hacker flight through kayak.com, which basically, my son's in the background, which basically means you go from... you book a one-way ticket on one airline because it's the cheapest, and you book a one-way ticket on another airline. And that was the cheapest way to do it. We got our flights. Our total was $201 for both of us, there and back. That's the cheapest flights I've ever taken in my entire life. And so I figured, like, these might be a hassle, but it's worth it. We do not play with mascara. They might be, so we figured it might be a hassle, but it's probably going to be worth it because, you know, we can't really afford super expensive flights. So our flight there was American Airlines, and obviously that flight has drink service, and they have the regular size tray tables. You can move your seats back, and it was just fine. There was nothing wrong with the flight. It was American Airlines. It was great. Our flight home was Frontier, and so I had done some YouTube research and internet research, and I was worried, to be honest. I did a lot of reading about their policies, about their carry-ons, and I was kind of stressing about it. So their policy basically is you can have one personal item, but it has to fit in their little personal item box. And it's pretty small. Like a large backpack would not work. It has to fit under the seat completely, or you'll get charged. And I think it's like $60 at the gate. If you want to bring a carry-on on top of your personal item, you can pay to bring in a carry-on. And we paid $30 for one carry-on, and that was before we checked in for the flight. So if you get there and need to pay for a carry-on, it's like $45 versus $30. So you really have to be prepared unless you want to get nickeled and dimed. I mean, obviously this airline is really cheap. The flights are really cheap, so they're going to have to make money somewhere. So anyway, we decided to do one carry-on, and since it was only a 3-day trip, we stuffed all of our stuff in my husband's hiking backpack, and that was his carry-on. And then I just brought a tote bag, and he brought a small personal bag for each of our personal items. That fit everything. We had laptops, we had clothes for 3 days, we had everything we needed for Walt Disney World, toiletries, all that, and it worked just fine. So we ended up paying the extra $30 surcharge. So another thing people complain about is that there's no free beverage service. Now, if you really think about it, this is like, you guys, this is like a 69-cent can of soda you're getting, and somebody is pouring it for you, and sometimes you don't even get the full soda. So, like, it's not really that impressive that airlines offer this service, because a little bag of pretzels and a soda is just not, I mean, like, raising their fares like $100 versus, you know, another $100 or $200 on top of what Frontier would cost. Like, you really think about it, it's not worth it. So we brought our own snacks on the plane, and then and drinks, and then we ended up, since I got kind of hungry, the flight was kind of during dinner time, so we ended up buying a couple snacks, and it was like $5. And I even gave the flight attendant a tip because she was really sweet. So, I mean, if you really think about it, not a big deal. Something else that other people complain about are the comfort of the seats. So the seats aren't super padded. They don't lean back for you to take a nap. And then the tray table is really small. I posted a picture of it on Facebook, and my friends thought it was hilarious. But basically, you get what you pay for. So I'm not flying for $49 on a luxury flight. I'm not flying first class. I'm not doing any of that. And so, like, I didn't really expect to be super, super comfortable. But in fact, you can probably see, I'm kind of a bigger lady, about size 20 dress size. I've had a bunch of babies in the last couple years, and so I'm on the bigger end of what I've been. And my American Airlines seatbelt was really hard to get on. Like, I looked at my husband and was like, it's probably time for me to start losing weight. Because sitting in that seat wasn't really as comfortable. And the seatbelt was, I was kind of wondering if I was going to need a seatbelt extender. I'm not super huge, but it still was like, whoa, surprising. So I was expecting the same when I got on my Frontier flight, but in fact, the seat was almost bigger, and the seatbelt was longer, and it was more comfortable. So think about that when you're considering paying for one of the more expensive airlines versus Frontier. To me, I lowered my expectations. I did not expect to be waited on hand and foot. I did not expect for everything to be just perfect. I paid $49 for this flight and was going to expect a $49 flight. And I left with them meeting above my expectations. The flight attendants were wonderful. There were several children on the flight, and they seemed well taken care of as far as what the parents needed. The flight attendants were great. They actually had changing tables in their bathrooms, which I don't know if any other airlines do that yet. There was nursing mothers. Nobody was harassed, which I know has been a problem with American Airlines. As far as the flight, it was not full. So as soon as everybody was on the flight, they were like, feel free to move around. Go find another seat if you don't want to sit super close to somebody else. I mean, that was great. It was a very relaxed atmosphere. As far as like the flight itself goes, descent was a little turbulent, but they don't really have control over what crosswinds are going to look like, so that was fine. Everything went really smoothly. There were no delays. I know that's been an issue in the past. So my advice to you, if you're seeking out really, really cheap flights, Frontier may be the way to go if you're willing to work your schedule around it, or just take, like we did, and go take one flight there, or one company there and one company back. Maybe a really good thing for you to be able to get cheap flights. Just make sure that you lower your expectations and you don't expect for everybody to wait on you hand and foot, because that's not what this kind of company is about. It's about affordability, and with affordability comes you get what you pay for, and that may mean a small tray and a seat that doesn't move back and having to pay 99 cents for your can of soda. Decide if that's worth it for you, because it definitely is worth it for me. Thanks, guys.